We read about the seal of God in Revelation chapter 7. Verses 1 to 3 state that, "After this I saw 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the earth, holding back the 4 winds of the earth to prevent any wind from blowing on the land or on the sea or on any tree. Then I saw another angel coming up from the east, having the seal of the living God. He called out in a loud voice to the 4 angels who had been given power to harm the land and the sea, 'Do not harm the land or the sea or the trees until we put a seal on the foreheads of the servants of our God.'" This gives us a clear impression that the seal is very important, but what exactly is it? Let's start by looking at the meaning of the term seal. There are different meanings that obviously do not fit this context, such as a large sea mammal that eats fish or something that tightly covers the opening of a container. According to Collins Dictionary, a seal is a special mark or design, for example on a document, representing someone or something. It may be used to show that something is genuine or officially approved. Cambridge Dictionary defines it as an official mark on a document, sometimes made with wax, that shows that it is legal or has been officially approved. And Merriam-Webster states that a seal is a symbol or mark of office. Now, many of us are familiar with a rubber stamp, but a seal is more important in many respects. On the basic design and operation level, a rubber stamp uses ink to transfer images onto paper, while a seal leaves an imprint or an outline that cannot only be seen but also physically felt. Many countries require companies to have seals for use in important legal documents, while a rubber stamp is not mandatory. Think of this: if the official documents we generally use are not considered legal unless they have a rubber stamp, how more important must a seal be? Let's go back to the Bible. We saw in Revelation chapter 7 verse 3 that God's seal was placed on the forehead. Verse 4 tells us that those who received the seal were 144,000. When we come to Revelation chapter 14 verse 1, we read, "Then I looked, and there before me was the Lamb, standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 who had his name and his Father's name written on their foreheads." So here we learn that what was put on the forehead, the seal, had God's name. This is in line with the way seals have been designed since time immemorial. For example, the following seal reads, "Elizabeth II, Queen of Canada." So a seal contains the name of the person in authority, the person's title and the person's area of jurisdiction. In this example, the name is Elizabeth II, the title is Queen and the jurisdiction is Canada. Before we go on to find out what the seal of God is, let us see what it is not. Leviticus chapter 19 verse 28 states, "Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you, I am the Lord." If God prohibits printing any marks on the body, do you expect his seal to be physical? This in turn means that we should not expect the mark of the beast to be physical either. While it is true that technologies exist of planting electronic chips onto the body, these will not be the marks. Well, they may be used as one of the ways of enforcing the mark of the beast, but they are definitely not the mark, but we will cover this topic later, God willing. So, what is God's seal? Isaiah 8:16 says, "Bind up the testimony, seal the law among my disciples." So let's turn to the law, or commandments, of God. Which among the commandments contain God's name, his title, and his jurisdiction? E. Garloff Sapphire Throne Media had already done a good presentation about it.
Earthly rulers use seals to authenticate their authority. A seal contains the person's name, his title, and his territory. For example, Donald Trump, President of the United States. Donald Trump is his name, President is his title, and the United States is his territory. God's seal of authority is placed in the forehead. Revelation 7:2 and 3 says, "And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads." We find God's seal in the 4th commandment, which was written in stone, signifying its everlasting nature. Can you pick out God's name, title, and territory in the fourth commandment? Exodus 20, 8-11. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. The Lord thy God is his name. His title is the one who made, or in other words, the Creator. And the territory over which God reigns is heaven and earth.
Is there any other proof in the Bible? Ezekiel chapter 20 verse 12 states, "Also I gave them my Sabbaths as a sign between us, so they would know that I the Lord made them holy." Some of the synonyms for seal include sign and mark. This means the verse can also be written as, "Also I gave them my Sabbaths as a seal between us, so they would know that I the Lord made them holy." The sign or seal of God is not just a matter of resting on the Sabbath, but obeying God in all ways, including worshiping Him on the Sabbath. Now you can see that the current calls for environmental Sabbath do not just touch the environment.